Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
Into the final two games of the league stage for IPL 2025. Does any team want to finish in the top two? Mumbai Indians and Punjab Kings have a shot at that when they meet in Jaipur on Monday evening. Let's build up to the game. On Nexa presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout, where we've got the company of Tom Moody and Anil Kumble. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Feels like no one is really up for that top two spot. Punjab Kings first, Anil. They haven't lost two in a row all season. Can they lift themselves up for this one?
They need to. If they have to qualify into that top two, then that's the only way. Because if they lose against Mumbai, then they'll certainly remain as the eliminator in one of the. That's the game that they'll have to play. So they have to pull themselves up. There's not much time between the last game and this one, so they need to certainly come through with a different strategy, especially with the bowling.
It's a pretty interesting position for Mumbai Indians, who till about 4 days ago would have thought there's very little chance of them finishing in the top two. But now the stars seem to be aligning. All those qualified teams ahead of them are only losing, and they have won 7 of their last 8 games.
Yeah, well, the world's opened up for them, hasn't it? And as you quite rightly say, a couple of weeks ago, they were scrambling to think, is this going to be another year of lost opportunity, missed finals? So they've got into the top 4, still with a chance of being in the top 2. So they're a side that, from an opposition point of view, you fear is a serious threat purely because of the depth of quality they've got, both with international and more in particular their domestic talent is extraordinary compared to most other teams. But yeah, they're playing the right cricket, the right brand of cricket and confident cricket at the right time. All right.
Punjab's bowling has come in focus, especially after Shreyas Iyer very frankly saying that he thought his bowlers were rusty and not on the job in Jaipur in their last outing, and they continue to remain in Jaipur, now up against an imposing Mumbai Indians batting lineup. What are the areas where they need to improve as a bowling unit?
They first need to get their best bowler back. I don't know what the reason was for Yuzi Chahal not playing the last game. So he needs to come back. And I think, the fifth bowler is something that they need to seriously consider. They have to look at it. When Maxwell was there, him and Stoinis played that role, but it's not going to be easy because it's a good track in Jaipur. So you need that fifth bowling option to be a solid one rather than depending on a Stoinis or somebody else. So that's the challenge that they have.
Yeah, Stoinis and Omarzai as your fifth bowler, while Omarzai had a role to play in Dharamshala. Is that a concern?
Not on paper, no, because they're both credible, bowlers. Probably Omarzai's slightly more used in T20 cricket as a specialist bowler against Stoinis is normally your sixth bowler that is a support bowler. You'd think both of them will be able to manage that fifth over slot, but they've had their challenges. I think a lot of it's to do with the deployment of those bowlers when you bowl them, and that will be made easier when you have the experience of someone like Chahal back into the side.
Chahal aside, they do have a few options because Xavier Bartlett's he's played a few games. Kyle Jamieson is available. He was a replacement for Lockie Ferguson. And if you'd consider that the arguments for Omarzai are that he also helps the batting, they have enough batting depth. Harpreet Brar was slotted at number 10 in the last game.
Yeah, well, they could go for a double change. They could go for both Bartlett, who is known more as your new ball expert, can close the innings as well, where Jamieson obviously gives you a point of difference. He's, 6'10", tall bowler, not express pace, but steep bounce. So it gives you a little bit of point of difference. I agree the batting is not an issue. So Omarzai is really just a luxury down the order. So it could be something they consider, but it'd be quite a dramatic change at this stage of the season to be making significant changes like that around your sort of team balance.
How do they look to stop Mumbai Indians? 7 wins in their last 8. The only defeat, a last ball finish against Gujarat Titans. That after the kind of start they had to this season. And it's a question that not just Punjab, all the other qualified teams are asking. If you're thinking from the outside, what are the possible chinks, if any, to exploit?
Well, it's a good question. With Bumrah back fit, that it's sort of he just completes their bowling unit, and we've seen Pandya as well not bowl himself that often, so they've still got quite a bit of depth and strength in their bowling. And their batting's firing, you know, like Sky's batting out of his skin, like he always does, and making life very difficult. I suppose the challenge for Mumbai, and it's not so much for this game, but moving forward, is the transition of players going out and players coming in, and how they seamlessly fit in their playing 11.
Yeah, because they will be without Ryan Rickleton and Will Jacks, who've been two of their top three.
Yes, but I think the replacements that they've chosen are probably like to like. I mean, in terms of Johnny Bairstow, he's experienced, he's been around in the IPL, he understands the team dynamics, and then he will probably slot in at that opening slot and keep wickets for Mumbai Indians. And then Sri Lanka is again, someone who you can use in case Will Jacks was being used only if they lost an opener early. And he could play that role as a left-hander. He's used to these conditions. He bowls a bit of off-break as well. So like to like for a Will Jacks, and they would slot in.
One of the key battles in this contest is perhaps Punjab's batters, who are the best side in the death overs, against Mumbai, who are obviously the best bowling side in the death overs. Bumrah and Bolt miles ahead of the rest. Will that dictate that Punjab need to go harder in the early parts of their innings?
No, I don't think so. I think their template's been pretty good, at the top of the order. I wouldn't be confusing the young domestic talent with too much, apart from just go out there and, it's copy and paste, do the same thing, have the same mindset, take the game on and just go out there and express yourself. And when you get to the back end, you hope you've built a strong enough foundation in your innings to be able to really accelerate. But, accelerating against the quality of Bumrah is a different conversation. But that's why it's important they have that solid foundation to be able to try to capitalise.
Bumrah going at 7.5 per over at the death. It's astounding, but it's also almost expected. But Trent Bolt is a remarkable turnaround, given that he had his difficulties bowling at the death for Rajasthan.
Yeah, he's used different angles now. He comes around the stumps, he's got his Yorker right, and he's experienced. So obviously, like you said, initially it was mostly Trent Bolt in the power play, and then in the death he would go for runs. But now he's found a way to sort of bowl at the death and be effective. And that's something that I think Punjab will also have to think of, not just the death bowling, but also in the power play, because that's where they've had maximum sort of damage with the two uncapped Indian batters, with Trent Bolt, Deepak Chahar and Jasprit Bumrah in the first 6 overs. They'll also have to think of those first 6 overs and not necessarily the last 6 or 4.
I think also with Trent Bolt, I think he's been the beneficiary of having Bumrah at the other end.
Yeah.
Because quite often Bumrah is taking a wicket, so you're then, bowling to a new batter, which is a hell of a lot easier than someone that's established hitting the ball out of the ground.
Every bowler in the world is a beneficiary of having Bumrah.
Except for the batters.
Okay, let's get predictions. Who are we backing? Anil?
I think Mumbai. Mumbai certainly with the kind of form and the kind of lineup that they have. I mean, they have 10 international players, and Namandir is the 11th. And he's no mug. I mean,
he's not far.
He's not far. I mean, he showed last game what he can do, and I think Mumbai has a really strong side.
Yeah, I'm Mumbai as well, I think.
All right then. 2 former Punjab coaches in unison backing Mumbai Indians. Thank you so much, Tom Moody, Anil Kumble, for your time and your company. That's the setup then. Be sure to join the build-up just before toss time on Nexa Presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout.
Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
Nexa.